All right. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. How do I do this? Screw it. All right, that should work. Anyways, figured I'm about to start work soon. So, oh man. Oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know who it is. I'm your host, the Haitian. I'm about to start my work today in a bit. So, figured out me just damn it, I'm a lot of coffee. Yep. So today was actually pretty good. You have the I've been, I had the chance to really go through social media and find out all these No King protest stuff, and it kind of inspired me to talk about this thing, man, because it's like, overall, was it a success? Yeah, I thought it was a success. There was enough people that showed up in it, right? You have Chicago, you have Memphis. They have been building that momentum for a while, right? But I want to talk about the hypocrisy of the whole No King protest, right? And what exactly did it accomplish? Tell me, has anything happened after the No King protest? Not really, because it's like you are trying to protest someone that every time you try to damp his popularity, he's actually coming out stronger. He's your your popularity, the Democratic popularity, continue to decrease as Trump is either remaining steady or increase slightly, right? And then because of social media, the reason why it's happening nowadays, right? I'll tell you why. Um, Before, mainstream media was the place where people actually mainstream media was, I would say, they were considered to be reliable sources. But since they've been lying over and over and over again, it's harder for them to be trusted. And not only that, they also keep being debunked every single time. So then now it gets to the point where social media has become mainstream, to the point where, let's say, the people in mainstream media will say something, and then someone with a camera or influencers will come through and debunk that, right? The Joe Rogans, the Tim Pool, and so on and so forth. So these people, social media has become mainstream. So then now, even you have CNN now, they try to push back on the Democratic Party, because a couple years back, they were the mouthpiece of the Democratic Party. Now they have become so disingenuous. Their credibility was such on the toilet. So then now they try to maintain the facade of that being biased. So they try to ask a question that seems to be like, huh, okay, that's a decent question, because they try to gain the trust of the people back. And they really now have to compete, because when they see you as being disingenuous, people are not going to listen to you. So all they're trying to do now is try to build their credibility. They try to build their credibility by asking hard question, or question that is not really hard, but enough to make it seem like they are being fair, right? So, and I would say good on them, right? And the thing about trust, it's easy to break the trust, but it's very hard to actually gain the trust back. And when you've been being untrustworthy for so long, when you continue to your hopes to be proven wrong over and over and over and over again, then now when you try to quote unquote be fair and balanced, people are gonna still gonna look at you with a side eye. People are still gonna look at you like, now you try to make it seem like you were being fair. Get the hell out of here, right? And people also have better news sources that they can trust now. So it's hard for them to just try to give you the trust back when you spent so long proving them wrong over and over and over again. You've spent so long being a piece of crap, being so long being a partisan hack, being the mouthpiece of one political party. And it's hard for them to take you seriously. Right? Now with the No King protest. The No King protest was a decent size, right? Although it's very difficult to, especially nowadays, to differentiate what is real and what is not due to AI, right? So some of these crowd could have been AI generated, possibly, could have been real, also possible, right? But all I know is that the poll is still showing that the Democratic Party is still in the toilet, and Trump's popularity is still steady and slowly climbing still, right? And the government shutdown have backlashed because the whole purpose of the government shutdown is to create enough momentum for the No Kings rally to put more pressure on the Republicans, so then therefore they would fold. They would fold to continue to proceed to prolong the Obama health care. And to them it's like, no, you either want to keep the government open, or you keep it closed as long as you want to, and then give Trump the executive power that he needed to shut down some of these programs that he wanted to shut down in the first place. So yeah, congratulations, you played yourself. So now, and black people were missing in this whole protest. They were not coming out in huge numbers. They were, you have a lot of old people, a lot more old people, and then and they were not really coming out and do the whole protesting, because they, over time, as time goes by, they kind of see who's making their life worse and who's making their life better, right? They kind of see that, it's, thanks to the Democrat shutdown, this is the reason why their WIC program is being cut, their welfare program is being cut, right? People are not being paid. They know who's the one that's shutting down the government, and they know who the Democrats are actually prioritizing. Are they prioritizing the American people? Not really. Are they prioritizing single mom? Not really. They're prioritizing illegal immigrants. They're prioritizing criminals. They're prioritizing people. They're making it easier for criminals to continue to hijack people and get away with it, right? Now, don't have to pay anything for bailout, and they continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. Crime has been ramping in the American in those blue cities for a very long time now. They'll be like, oh no, the data shows that crime is down, as if it's not that easy to actually manipulate statistics. You know, people have seen what's been going on, and they've seen, like, inflation has been going down under Trump, or steady, right? Versus on the Biden, skyrocketed. Now, once let's say the big beautiful bill start taking effect the way that he should, then let's say probably for the next 6 months to a year, when the you see the fruit of the fruit of that thing to actually start to take effect, then you're gonna see how much progress we actually making in the government, right? And the sabotage that we're seeing right now, it's not helping the Democratic Party. It's not, right? But I try to understand why some young people continue to vote for let's say the Democratic Party, right? Especially the college educated. Because think about it. You have been told that the way to success is to go to college, get a degree, and then you would have the world will be at your palm, right? And especially those who have, like, in the suburb, those who are in the metropolitan Democrats, right? Let's say those who are making six figures but yet still can't afford to to have their own house and stuff like that, right? Things are more and more expensive for them. And you have to think about it. It's like they're looking at it from a perspective of, like, well, I went to college for a degree where, even though I'm getting paid, good amount of money, but the city that I live in is so expensive that it make it seems like I'm actually getting paid minimum wage. They're getting taxes off the wazoo. So then, of course, they're gonna be bitter. Of course, they're gonna have some sort of they're gonna feel some type of way about it, because, like, I'm supposed to be living the American dream. Why is it so hard for me to, own a house? Why is it so hard for me to own a home and all that stuff, right? And there is a resentment towards the older generation, towards the boomers who sold out this country. There is a resentment, and it's understandable. So I'm not faulting these kids for being for actually trying to embrace socialism, because in their mind socialism is the way out of these massive debt, of this pressure, these student loan that they find themselves in, right? And it sucks. It sucks for them, so I do understand them. And but the problem is, now, for the past decade or so, people have been telling you, hey, if you go to school for these stupid ass degrees, you cannot fault people for not hiring. You cannot fault people for end up working at Starbucks, being a barista. And now these things are going away. These cushy jobs that don't actually produce nothing for society is slowly going away. It's going away. You know what we need in this country? We need tradesmen. We need people that work at factory. We need people that work at oil field. We need jobs, that are productive, right? These are the jobs that are opening. And if you don't want, if you want to be in the office all day and, having your AC and all that stuff, or your low heater, being all nice and comfortable, and expect to get paid a whole bunch of money, it's I'm sorry, it's not happening. The AI revolution is cutting off a lot of these jobs, right? You may say that, well, we should put a stop to it. No, it'll be like the same thing as saying that, well, because of let's say car is going to take away jobs from, let's say, horses and carriages. No, it's not going to happen. I think what I see with all these evolution when it comes to the job market, right? Well, let's say with AI is being a supplement to, let's say, coding and a lot of these things, is it kind of free people to solve all the problems that's plaguing society. Like, for instance, we need more plumbers, we need more tradesmen overall. So then, therefore, now, then those jobs is gonna be open up for the next generation. So from high school, instead of going to college, you should go straight up for the trades. As a matter of fact, young kids should stop worrying about try to get into all these college degree and all that stuff, right? And actually start going directly into trade, right? And I think is the next best thing to do. More entrepreneur. It makes it easier thanks to AI and innovation. Instead of having like a staff of like 20 to do your things, you have less people to do it, right? You can implement AI in alongside with your business, and you can actually be more profitable. And I think that will create more entrepreneur on the long run. I think that's where things are going. The new economy is actually gonna be a lot better, I say. And sometimes it's gonna be tough, because whenever you transporting from one old system to a new one, there's gonna be headache. There's gonna be a period of adjustment. And I think you can either see it for what it is and be a pioneer in that new system and start making money with it, or you can bitch and moan and complain about, like, the old system is crumbling, and then now you feel stuck. And you can learn. I think this period of time is a transition, and I think there are ways to go about it and to make life better for everybody. But anyway, No King protest, it wasn't really that effective. It didn't change anything. One AI generated from Trump. Now, that's what people are talking about. He just troll y'all, and now the No King protest. What was the purpose of that exactly? Oh, the protest is to America saying that we don't want no king. Okay, that statement in itself is ridiculous, because it's coming from the people that didn't even have a primary for their candidate, that just select their candidate instead of actually electing a candidate to actually run against Trump. So that shows itself that you don't even believe in the democratic process that you're preaching about, right? And those who were for for cancel culture, right? Those who were for forcing vaccine upon people or lose your job. Those who were advocating for what you call it, education camp for those who refuse the vaccine, it's kind of hard to take you seriously. It's kind of hard to for us to believe that you for democracy, or you for a representative a republic, when it shows that for the past 10 years or so you have been doing the opposite. Right? It's very hard to take you seriously in that sense. Now, are there some hard time ahead? Yes, of course. Do I believe that Trump is right about everything? Hell no. Right? But the message coming from people that just have been proven over and over and over again that you don't care about democracy, it's very difficult to take for the public to take you seriously. You might have fooled a few thousand people, a few 100,000 people, but you are see-through, right? The majority of people don't believe you. That's why the Democratic Party influence is on the gutter. What, the approval rating is like what, 20%, something like that? Yeah. It's the momentum is not coming back to y'all. You are slowly losing grip. And I know, and I understand, and you still have those who still vote blue no matter who, and yet still for some reason, right? I think the thing that confuses me the most is when you have those who are conservative by nature but yet still support a party who are very lack the common sense. What I mean by this, right? You claim that especially when it comes to black people, right? Some of the things that you do are very conservative, right? You are not really pro LGBTQ. You are not really pro a lot of these crazy stuff, but yet you support the party that actually are, right? You support the party that that believe that man can transition to a woman, even though you don't believe that. You believe in a party that actually destroying feminism, believe it or not, because if any man can claim to be a woman, right? So then therefore that kind of level the playing field. In a way, that's a good thing. But yeah, it's like you support a party that is contradictory in a lot of things, right? And they just give you a word salad, and that's not beneficial to what you're trying to accomplish. So then it's very hard for me to take you seriously, right? And it feels like you hate the opposition more than you actually care about what you believe in. That's what it comes down to, right? Because the policies that's being enacted by those you support is detrimental to your community. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. You know who it is. I'm your host, the Haitian. So share, like, comment, and subscribe. I gotta get ready. I gotta be out of here. All right, peace.